Welcome to this new episode, Breaking Through Time and Space. Before we begin, just like all the times, I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. Exhale, let it go. A couple more times. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath, arriving, being present. Exhale, let it go. One last time, deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. This time, set up your intentions, open up for this beautiful transmission, knowing that you will receive what you're meant to receive, what you need to hear. Inviting so much gratitude for that. And exhaling, letting it go. Opening up your eyes whenever you're ready. Welcome from Cusco, Peru. The wind is speaking. If you can hear that in the background, it's the wind. So, breaking through time and space. This is actually an episode about psychedelics. And I had mentioned in one of the previous episodes how before I used to be so shy about them, and honestly, a little bit of shame because it's seen as drugs, right? And I mean, not saying in your experience, maybe in your experience, yes, but in my experience, for sure, it had been seen as drugs, something that you just do and that you don't really tell anybody, or you tell your close friends because you did it together. And so part of my whole journey has gone from really rewiring that in my system to know that they're not drugs, that they're actually medicine whenever we take them consciously and we have the reverence for them, right? Again, everything can be a medicine if you have reverence for them and just really use it consciously with an intention. So let's begin. I really love this part of the journeys with psychedelics because it's just mind-blowing. And if you have had those experiences, I'm sure you can resonate with that. So let's talk about the breaking through time and space, right? We're living in this 3D world, and it might seem that it's all just linear. And because, first of all, we have the time, right? The clock is ticking and it's saying like, okay, 1 hour passed, or like 1 day passed, and 10 days till whatever this happens, or another month till my birthday, so it's just like we're conditioning the mind that it's just this, there's only this one road ahead, and that's just what we do. And so what happens with that is that we totally can forget, not all of us do, but most of us do, we forget that it's not just a linear thing, we forget that like past, present, and future are happening and dancing very similar to the masculine and the feminine energies at the very same moment in time throughout the whole space. And so what happens in a psychedelic journey is that you enter the field, the field of consciousness, which of course we are part of the field. But again, having this human experience with a linear way or roads that we just see ahead of us, or that we've been told it's just that way, we might totally forget that we're even the field itself, because that's what we are, the field itself. So in this psychedelic journey, so we begin to go out of the physical body, right? And tapping into the field. What's in the field? Everything is in the field. This is why at times on a psychedelic journey and even plant medicine, we can tap into what we believe is past lives, or something that happened to our family members like years ago, or even what we call future, right? The thing here is not to, in a way, take it so this is just how it is, right? Because at times the journey really just sends you a signal that you might be able to understand at that particular moment in time, in your present moment, right? And it might not actually be exactly how it shows up. But what it really is true, it has been in my experience and the experience of those that have held space during journeys, is that we're literally accessing future, present, and past. And it's almost like a travel in space, right? we break through the linear pattern that we feel that we are in. And then we're accessing, again, the field that is us. We're accessing this field. Whenever the consciousness accesses this field, then in a way it's looking around like, okay, so what is this being needs right now, right? You pure consciousness, pure awareness, you know exactly what you need. So as you go into the fields, imagine just like an elevator. This is what is being shown to me. An elevator is just, you're shooting all the way up, you enter this field, and then it's almost like you're looking around. And it's like, all right, so what is it that my being needs to know or needs to experience? And then immediately that lights up over there and you're like, all right, that thing right there. And so then you begin to merge, right? So if you are in this point right here and this awareness that you need to experience is in this point, you begin to journey to it. See, the journey of psychedelics. You begin to journey into it. And so in this moment, you know, in the field, there is no like, okay, hey, this is just like the present or this is the future. It's like everything is happening at once. And so this point right here might be something that you're accessing in your future of this, what we call life. So then you break through a pattern that you've had for so long, and it's easier for you. Doesn't necessarily mean that that actual future reference will actually happen exactly like it's been shown to you, because it's not about the future thing that happened or the past experience. It's about what is happening in the present moment with you in your current experience, in your journey, for you to break through something. Yeah. And so this experience is literally the guiding light for you to break through something, a code, a pattern, or not even that, you know, to let something come through for your own experience, for your own remembrance. And it's so beautiful. So here it is, you know, let's call it this future event. This future event is like, okay, I know, because this is also pure consciousness. I know this being needs to experience this in order to come back more into itself, in order to love itself more. And so this is what, as you enter this field, then there's this light bulb that comes in, and as your awareness, pure consciousness knows, it's like, oh, there it is, light bulb, you know, like the light bulb moment. And so then you begin your journey into it, right? And that doesn't mean that the journey is just super easy. At times there's resistance. Think about like a rocky road, right? Or maybe it can be a rocky road and like big potholes or mud holes, or even places where you have to like cross on a bridge, then the bridge is kind of tricky. So all these things can happen in the journey. And it's also about trusting it, right? And surrendering to it. This is again why surrendering to your experience, whether you are in the journey or in your own process without quote unquote anything, you know, is super helpful, because then you're not like into like unwelcoming state. You're like, yes, cool, I know I can do this. And so then you go through all these roads and this awareness that come through, right? So every little rock, every like rocky road, or even every bridge that you're crossing to get to this point, it's an awareness that comes through. It's part of your story and what you believe is your story in this lifetime, or even, you know, in past lifetimes or in your lineage. So then you got to go through all these experiences in a way to make peace with them, in a way so they're not blocking the road, right? Because imagine if there's a ginormous rock right there and you're like, holy moly, how do I get through this? It's too big for me. I don't have things to climb it. But it's as simple as accepting it. Okay, there's this rock in my journey. How can I see this rock? If I see it as an obstacle, then it can be a little bit more challenging. If I see it as a blessing, literally, if I see it as a blessing and a teaching, and I accept it, and I accept these teachings, then it can be a little bit more gentle for you. easier to go and maneuver through this journey. So whenever you see this rock like a blessing and a teaching, then, it literally just collapses. It collapses. And this is also very helpful in your own processes, by the way. And so then you continue to move through, right? And you let all these energies to pass through you, all these energies that you're feeling, all these emotions to just like move. It's like understanding, yes, I'm getting to a destination. I don't even know what the destination is, but I know I'm being guided to this, and I know I can, and I can soften in it. I can soften in it because I know that I can do it. And I know I'm meant to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this journey. Does that make sense? Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that journey. You were called to do that journey. You accepted it because you knew something in you said like, yes, I must, right? Talking about conscious journeys. And so then you reach this point. And when you reach this point, all this awareness, so maybe all these visions come through, all these sensations about like, that's how the future is going to happen, right? But that was, again, the access point for a breakthrough. And you were moving through these layers to break through different patterns, really deep patterns, to get there. And then the road is free. And then you can access that point in consciousness anytime that you wish. Anytime that you wish. So this is why it is called, why I call this episode Breaking Through Time and Space, because again, in the fields, you can access so many things, especially if you're very sensitive, like I am. It's just like, holy moly, and having that intention in your journey, intention is your access point. What are you getting out of this? And if you don't even know what your intention is, having the intention, then what is best for you at the moment will happen. And so again, as you're elevating in the journey and you're accessing consciously the field, that you will see and feel this tiny little light bulbs all around. And it doesn't necessarily have to be this ginormous thing. It could be like mini tiny journeys throughout the whole journey. And being, again, in your present moment, but experiencing the future, breaking through time and space. And at the same time, as you're experiencing the future, you're in the present moment, you are remembering many memories of the past. And how could you actually, think about this? This is what is like I hear it so deeply right now. Think about this linear way of living that we tend to have as humans, right? And then having that breakthrough, or having one of those journeys, experiencing the future, the past, the present, and even beyond that, like nothingness, literally nothingness. And that's our remembrance, to know that we are multidimensional beings, that we're not just this human body just moving around into this pattern, right? That we have the power to, as we're moving through life, to hop timelines, literally. And what does that even mean, right? What does that even mean? As you continue to elevate it and as you continue to remember yourself, then it's like, okay, this road that I'm taking no longer serves me. And it's just a lower vibration, literally. So as that is happening, that you call upon this bridge into another life, right? Another version of yourself, if you will. And then you cross over, and then you are in a more aligned path. This continuously happens all throughout. When we look at the energetic field, it's not just like this. There's so many lines going around, meaning many different versions of yourself that is having a completely different experience, but very similar in the way. And so, there's a very elevated version, there's the very lower version, which I'm talking about vibrations. And so here is you, right? And you are into this new path of awakening and remembering yourself. And then, you can no longer do the same things that you were doing for years, because it just doesn't even resonate, doesn't feel good. So what happens, then it's almost like you're telephoning like somebody else, like another version of yourself being like, hey, I'm ready. open up the bridge, open up the portal. It's like, dude, awesome. Okay. So then the portal opens up, the bridge opens up, you cross over. Literally, I'm talking about vibrations and energies, and then you are in another pathway. And of course, as you are in this new road, right, you might have this like, oh, I miss this part of myself. It's like, oh, this is so challenging because it's a transition period and it's normal to have that. And you can, the transition period can be very challenging at the beginning. And as you continue to move through, you might still remembering, and that's okay. You're still processing, you're still merging the energies of who it was you with the energies of who you are becoming, right? And so as these energies are merging, then of course, they're becoming one, and then one is elevating the other one. And so as this is happening, again, all those vibrations and all the roots of any, what we call traumas or whatever you want to call them, begin to just go down. And you are being elevated by yourself. And these are processes that happen constantly. And they could be, again, felt like very deeply or very subtle. But the cool thing about it is that it happens in the awakening process. Again, not just through the psychedelic journey, but a psychedelic journey is just a really fast road, like a fast highway. Right. So an express train. There you go. It's like an express train. Right. And at times there's just like, you can fight it. If you want to fight it, you can hold on tight onto something like maybe you normally do through your processes. But at one moment it reaches like it's too much and you just softens, it's like it takes you into the field. And again, you're looking at the field being like, all right, what is it that I do need in this moment in time? And then light bulbs happen. And this is just a little side note that you don't need to be in psychedelics to access this field because it's you, right? So as we're having this experience, then you might feel like, oh, okay, this is outside of myself, right? Until you continue to go through many experiences to like remember that that is also you. What you're seeing outside of yourself is not something outside of yourself, but a version of you. And this is where it becomes like that divine union too. And it's really that knowing that it's like, if I harm you, I'm harming myself. And I don't have that in me because I deeply love myself and I deeply love you. And I deeply love this experience and beyond of what is happening. So again, this is something about entering into the state. There's like many breath work practices, yoga, meditation. This is what really helps us to access the field. And the more that you are doing this by yourself, of course you can do it in community, but I mean like for you, yeah, the more that you're doing this for you, the more than whenever you actually go into a journey of psychedelic and plant medicine, it's like there's way more awareness that happens. And at the same time, there's more surrender. So the journeys don't become as painful if they don't need to be. You just flow with it because it's like, okay, I'm here for this medicine and I'm receiving this medicine and I'm witnessing this. And what a gift that is for me and others. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. So I invite you to, if you don't do so anyways at this moment in time, just to start with a little practice if you would like to access that field without taking anything, right? And of course, if you feel the call to like do this journeys, just find somebody that you actually tap in, that you can actually really relate and you feel that connection, right? Because it's really important that you feel safe. So I'm laughing because it's like, masculine and feminine energies, they gotta feel safe in order for them to dance. You gotta feel safe in order for you to be. You gotta feel safe in order for you to really journey deep into whatever you're meant to. And so make sure that you feel safe with this person that is holding space. And if you have that feeling, that sensation like, oh, I don't think so. And your friends are like, come on, let's do it. It's not in your best benefit to do it. Listen to your intuition. You will find the person that you really resonate with. And then once you do, you'll be able to soften so deeply into the journey as they hold space for you, as you remember. And it will be a beautiful and safe journey. And you might probably talk about it for a really long time. Maybe not, who knows? I did. So beautiful, beautiful. There's something that wants to come through right now, and it's really related into the field. So the message right now is to think about the highest version of yourself, the highest version of yourself as this field. Yeah. So imagine this ball of energy, just to give it a form that is above you, just to give you something that you can relate to. Because it's everywhere, it's not just above you. Yeah. So there's this beautiful light bulb energy, and then you're right here. Yeah. And so as you open up, as you remember, you open up these channels to remember, to really remember that you are all of this. And it goes beyond that too, to feel the support and to merge, and to merge. The more that those channels are open up within yourself for unconditional love, for acceptance of your being and your journey, the more that your current self, right, as the human being that you believe you are and that you are having that experience, and that field itself begin to merge. It could be like very slowly, it could be very fast, who knows, it's just at your own pace. And then the merge, and again, it's just like divine union. It's like, wow, I'm home. And I know that I'm the field, but I also know that I'm having this human experience and I have some kind of limitations. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to limit myself and not be who I am. What it means is that I'm empowering myself more because I remember and I know, and I can help others to reach that too. Your journey is so important, especially to the ones that you will encounter in your life. Maybe you'll be a teacher, maybe you'll be a sister, maybe you'll just be that amazing friend that just is the light bulb in the field for somebody else in this journey. Yeah. And so one thing is to know that everything happened for a reason, and know that you're deeply loved, and know that you yourself are holding space, like that big field, for you to remember that you're it and merge. Beautiful. So much love, many blessings. I'll see you next time.